Before you go to the polls in this year's general election, there are a few things you ought to know. Now, you'd be right to assume that what you read in the papers is the truth. How could it be anything else? But the real truth is the media like to keep us in the dark. Our most popular papers, like the Daily Mail, The Sun and The Express, are owned by billionaires who support the Conservative Party and gain financially from their success. And if we, as humans, are repeatedly told the same things enough times, we begin to believe them, even if they're not true.
The strong and stable leadership of a Conservative government.
Let's get Brexit done.
They might be catchy slogans, but they don't tell us anything. It seems the Conservative Party has made this election all about Brexit. And yes, it's undeniably important. But what about everything else? The NHS, jobs, education. What kind of country are we actually voting for if we choose to vote Conservative? Now, most of us want the same things in life. We want to live in a safe place with good jobs, friendly people, and good public services. But since the Conservatives came into power in 2010, we've had the longest squeeze in living standards and wages. Our public services are failing because of cuts and underfunding, and we have an ever-increasing gap between the rich and the poor. This is the result of a Conservative policy called austerity, and this is what it's done. Right now, over a quarter of all children in the UK are living in relative poverty. Homelessness is at an all-time high, and record numbers of people are using food banks just to survive. The NHS is at breaking point. GP and A&E waiting times are getting longer. Some hospitals have been forced to close. Cancer targets are being missed, and as a doctor, I see patients suffering from the crisis we're in. And it's not because there isn't enough money for the NHS, and it's not because of immigration. It's because the Conservative Party has been chronically underfunding it and has been quietly privatising it without our consent. And this is the same tactic they used to sell off our railways and energy suppliers, and we know how well that went. Expensive fares and terrible service. The Conservatives also have a cavalier attitude towards your safety. Cuts to the police and the fire service mean many crimes aren't being investigated properly, and some house fires aren't being extinguished quick enough. Fire deaths have risen by 21% as a result. And it's the same story in our education system. School budgets are being cut, teachers are being laid off, and many others have quit due to the increasing stress and pressures. The Conservative Party has made us believe that all of this has been necessary to balance the books and bring down the national debt. But it's actually done the opposite and increased our debt by 53%. All of the suffering that people have experienced due to austerity has been for nothing. One issue on many people's minds is that of immigration. But we never needed to leave the EU to have control of our borders. We could have reduced immigration by 80% using existing EU laws, but it was our government that chose not to. The hard truth is this. As these papers and the Leave campaigns distract us and blame the EU and immigration for all of our problems, the super rich continue to hide their money offshore and avoid paying taxes. Taxes which could be used to fund our public services properly. And whilst we're all mad at each other, we're not mad at the people making all of the money. It's really that simple. And have you ever wondered why the papers are so anti-Jeremy Corbyn and the Labour Party? Well, because he threatens the elite by proposing increased taxes on the super rich and on big corporations. It's in their interest to persuade you not to support him. And what about Brexit? Well, we're 3 years on and we haven't gotten anywhere. It's just missed deadlines and broken promises. And we're beginning to see how Brexit is actually damaging our country, from the loss of jobs and manufacturing to the divisions in our communities. And Brexit is damaging our NHS, from the loss of staff to medicine shortages and a potential trade deal with the US.
I can't hear him. What?
It's the National Health Service. He says, should the National Health Service be on the table?
Look, I think everything with the trade deal is on the table. So NHS or anything else, or a lot more than that. But everything will be on the table, absolutely.
And whilst the Conservative Party has tried to deny it, The documents of their secret talks with the US confirm that the NHS will be opened up to American corporations. Is this really what we want? We have some big problems in our country, and it's understandable if you're angry and want things to change. But it's not the EU or immigration we should be blaming. It's our government and austerity. That's what needs to change. You have an opportunity on December 12th to choose a new direction for our country and to have another say on Brexit now that we know more about it. So whether it's Labour, the Lib Dems, Green or other, take a look at what the other parties are offering and choose a party that best represents you. And please, let's widen our news sources and talk to each other so that we can all become better informed. And if you enjoyed this video, share it with your friends and family. Show it to your nan, and together we can make it happen.